Iran denies reports that it recently carried out airstrikes against ISIL in Iraq. The U.S. is also stressing that there is no coordination with Tehran on tackling the Sunni terrorist group. CCTV's Nathan King joins us in our Washington newsroom with more. Nathan.
Yes, both Washington and Tehran are at pains to point out that they are not cooperating. But if Iran is bombing ISIL from the air over Iraq, then another front has been opened up against the Islamist group. Video of Iraq's Air Force bombing ISIL targets outside of Baghdad. The question now, is Iran doing the same? The question arose after grainy footage was aired on the Al Jazeera network a few days ago, showing a US-made F-4 Phantom jet apparently on a bombing run over ISIL-controlled territory. Now the F-4, pictured here, is used by the Iranians who bought the now antiquated jets from the US before the Islamic Revolution. Turkey also has F-4s, but its unwillingness to get militarily involved in the anti-ISIL movement points back to Iran as the most likely owner. Tehran has been quick to deny the reports.
News about cooperation between Iran and military groups of other countries is imprecise and incorrect.
While Tehran denies the air operations, it has openly said that militias have been fighting ISIL alongside Kurdish Peshmerga forces. Casualties have also been reported. Iranian military support has also been sent to reinforce Baghdad. All this comes as US Secretary of State John Kerry chaired the first ministerial meeting of the coalition against ISIL in Brussels. Iran is not part of that coalition and has not been invited to any meetings. But Iran is essentially fighting on the same side as the US against the militant group. The US, however, maintains there is no coordination.
I think it's self-evident that if Iran is taking on ISIL in some particular place, and it's confined to taking on ISIL, and it has an impact, it's going to be a net effect is positive. But that's not something that we're coordinating. The Iraqis have the overall responsibility for their own ground and air operations, and what they choose to do is up to them.
Some have said that it is likely there is at least some information sharing between the US and Iranians, even if it is only through the Iraqi government. And some Iraqi politicians say they would welcome Iranian air attacks.
We know that the Islamic Republic of Iran is fighting the Islamic State. It has advisors in the country. It provides Iraq with weapons and ammunition. If Iran has carried out airstrikes against the Islamic State in coordination with the Iraqi government, it is a welcome step. The Islamic State is an enemy to all peoples all over the world, and Iraq and Iran are among its targeted peoples.
The denials by the US and Iran of any coordination may, of course, be a reflection of the continued tensions between Tehran and Washington that goes back decades, despite recent progress on Iran's disputed nuclear program. There could also, though, be a regional dimension to keeping each other at arm's length when it comes to battling ISIL. Many of Washington's Sunni allies have been reluctant to join the fight against Islamic State, believing the real fight should be with Syria's President Bashar al-Assad, and it's a greater threat to the region. Knowing that regional rival Iran is involved in the fight against ISIL would perhaps make Sunni rivals less likely to cooperate as well. So there is the geopolitics, of course, to bear in mind.
So Nathan, is any of this working at all? Is ISIL on the back foot of this?
Yeah, the complicated politics aside, remember where we were last June and July as ISIL forces swept through the Sunni heartlands of Iraq and firmed up their control in parts of Syria, including on the Turkish border. We're a far way away from that now. Are they on the back foot? Probably not, but they have been stemmed. And you've seen Iraqi airstrikes like we had in that video, which weren't available in June and July. And if Iran is getting in the fight, that's another front as well. And the US continues to pound targets in Syria and Iraq as well. So contained, but not yet defeated. It'll be interesting to see if this actually goes on, whether a different security structure in the Middle East can start to emerge, where countries like Iran and perhaps Saudi Arabia and Turkey can start talking and also start trusting each other.
All right, Nathan King in our Washington newsroom.